how do you describe health and disease? And then we'll try and connect the two. So from your perspective, how do you look at health? How do you look at disease? And what in your mind is health? If you can talk about that.
Yeah. But before that, Ramesh, what do you think is health?
Well, I have learned the hard way, or rather through a lot of reading and exposure. From what I believe, health is, if I'm able to sleep well, if my emotions are fine, my ablution, my motion in the morning or wherever it is not constipated, it just smooth and it is fine. I'm not having any flatulence on those kinds of things. Number three is if I feel the energy in the morning to work or to do whatever I'm doing. And number four, I felt, is if I'm able to feel empathy, sympathy towards things which are outside of me, in the society. If I read something bad or I feel empathetic towards it, if I can even cry, for example, in empathy, and not on myself, not about myself, but if I'm able to cry on or feel bad or empathize with other people, I think to me that is health. And so health, as someone had taught me earlier, health is not absence of a disease. I think you were the one who taught me that, if I'm not mistaken. So it is not absence of a disease. It is being one with nature, to be able to kind of completely align yourself with nature. That is, in my view, health. That's my definition.
No, that's
You can
beautiful.
correct me if I'm wrong.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I'm glad we think of health in these days, especially after COVID, which has heightened many of our perceptions. Health has been more broadly defined, not just in terms of physical health, but also in terms of mental health and social health and how we work from home, occupational health, and whether we feel fulfilled. People are asking those questions. And which is like, my creative health meter, is it ticking? And also spiritual health about, why is this all happening? Why somebody is dying? Why I'm alive? All these questions, right? Existential questions are coming in. So all these dimensions, various dimensions of physical, mental, social, occupational, creative, spiritual, all these dimensions are now being viewed as part of an integral health. So I would say that we have more integrality today in terms of our perspectives on health than we had even like a couple of years ago, pre-March 2020. So that's a good thing. I mean, COVID has not had too many good side effects, but I think this is one of them. And so I trace my conviction in the definition of health to Acharya Lakshmana Sharma of Pudukkottai, who in his grand treatise Swadhina Swasthya Mahavidya, or Practical Nature Cure, as the book is translated in English, he defines health in this simple shloka, right? He says, Pranasya nirmale dehe cheshtitam swasthya namakam. Pranasya samale dehe cheshtitam roga namakam. Now, I'm not an expert in Sanskritam, but this shloka is essentially saying that the activity and actions of our life force in a clean body is called health. The activity and actions of life force in an unclean body is called disease. Of course, here we are looking at the physical dimension. Acharya Lakshmana Sharma is talking about the physical dimension of health. So, in the physical dimension, disease is just a lower state of health, right? And which means that unless it has gone too far, it is reversible. And of course, there are always early indications of lower state of health even in our everyday life. We get a cold, we catch, a fever, or we don't catch a fever. We have a fever, or we cough, we feel aches, right? All these are indications of a slightly lower state of health. Now, if at this point we use techniques like resting and fasting for body and mind, then the body does what it needs to do. The life force has its activities, the life force has its actions, and the elimination of toxins results in the restoration of what we feel as a healthy state of being. Because we feel that, oh, I am back to my normal rhythm, I'm healthy. It's just an elimination of toxins. On the other hand, if I suppress it, right, now the suppression doesn't take care of the toxins, right? It is still lodged. Maybe it goes a little deeper and it waits for the next ripe time when it can actually come up again. And then it shows up as inflammation, it shows up as fatigue, maybe as a rash in the skin. And when we don't listen again, and then we just apply some cortisol or lotion, then we are not really mending our ways there, right? Then the disease progresses to a point where we become dysfunctional. So this is how we take something as simple as a fever, which is a sign of a lower state of health, and we can, by repetitive suppression, push it to a point where we become fatigued and dysfunctional. So I'll not go on and on about this, but I also want to throw some light on the other aspects, right? So just a disease-free state, Ramesh, as you said, a disease-free state of the body is not necessarily a healthy state, right? Because there are other states where we have experienced joy and flow and optimal functioning, and from morning to night, nonstop, I'm able to go at something that I'm, passionate about. All these are also indicators of health, which means we have to, like we talked about, zoom out a little bit and then look at the other dimensions of wellness. We have mental wellness and social wellness, where how well I connect to others becomes the key. And occupational wellness, about how satisfied am I at my work. And creative wellness, where, I do create some channels for my creative output every day, even if it is just drawing a simple column in the morning or rangoli in the morning, or, taking a good picture, or writing a poem, or writing a story, whatever it is, right? Or knitting a basket, or crocheting a shawl, whatever, right? And there is this also the aspect of wellness that we cannot ignore, which is financial wellness. And we need to take care of that too as part of our overall wellness. I don't mean greed, but wellness, right? And of course, spiritual wellness, where I am, of how well am I connected to myself, right? So all these dimensions are there, and we need to look at well-being in toto versus just physical well-being, right? And for me, there's great joy in seeing people overcoming their shortcomings in a certain department or a certain dimension of life by not compromising on their other dimensions of life, right? And that is a sign of wellness. Like the joy of seeing a person with a disability crack a joke and laugh merrily, that is like unparalleled. They are not letting their physical dimension or a disability in their physical dimension interfere with or mitigate their sense of life, right? Sense of life, sense of well-being in the social dimension. And that's why they are able to crack that joke. That is the true sign of wellness, right? So I think that's where I'm looking at wellness these days in terms of all these aspects, and not just in terms of physical health.